Good morning. Just coming up to 6:01 on this Tuesday. People living in a North Vancouver neighborhood are keeping a close eye on their children and their pets after a cougar was shot and killed in the area, and there are concerns more of the big cats could be nearby. Greg Harper is in North Vancouver this morning with the details. Greg.
Good morning, Kyle. Well, this is a quiet neighborhood just behind me. It's also a busy area at times. We're right here at Edgemont Village. It's not far from here where a cougar was shot and killed by conservation officers yesterday. This is a female cougar, very young, about 1 year old. And conservation officers say they had to shoot the cougar because of its threatening behavior. And this all took place so close to a busy area and near a school as well. The real concern here is because the cougar was so young, conservation officers are saying that there is a chance there could be a sibling or even the cougar's mother nearby, and residents are being urged to be very aware of their surroundings.
I was especially frightened, I think, when I heard the gunshots, you know, because it was obviously really close to our place. Until then, I wasn't sure how close it was.
I'm normally pretty close to him. If he's out in the backyard, I'm nearby. Plus, we have the benefit of having dogs on either side of our properties.
We walk the trails all the time, and it's just a matter of making sure they know that we're there and they'll stay out of your way.
The cougar was preying on a cat and a couple of raccoons before it was shot. Kyle?
Greg Harper live in North Vancouver this morning. Thanks for that, Greg. Well, the chair of the Vancouver School Board has stepped down. The NPA's Christopher Richardson announced his resignation during last night's meeting, citing personal reasons. He plans to remain on the board as a trustee. Vice Chair Janet Fraser will take over Richardson's job until a new chair is elected on June 24th. The resignation comes just over a week after an independent report found trustees could save millions of dollars in annual savings by shutting down up to 19 schools across the city. A lawyer for a freelance journalist says accusations made by former Vancouver Olympic CEO John Furlong have ruined her career. Arguments have been made that Laura Robinson was an activist rather than a professional journalist. There have been also claims that she fabricated a story because of a personal vendetta. The lawsuit follows the publication of a contentious article in the Georgia Straight suggesting Furlong abused First Nation students in northern BC in the late 1960s and early 1970s. Over the past year, all three of Furlong's accusers have dropped their cases against him. Emotions were running high outside the North Vancouver courthouse yesterday after a judge granted bail to a teenager accused in the fatal stabbing of Luka Gordich in Whistler Village.
Hey, that man here, you better watch this kid. I live right by him. Watch him. Hey, watch him. Hey.
Sheriffs had to break up the altercation between the families of the victim and the accused, 18-year-old Arvin Golick. Golick is charged with manslaughter along with 3 other underage suspects who can't be named. 2 of the youths have also been released on bail. The remaining teenager is still in custody. As part of his release conditions, Golick is under 24-hour house arrest.
There's an altercation between my niece and the accused family, and what I've heard is someone took a swipe at her.
Gordich's family also appealed for more witnesses to the fatal attack in May to come forward. Crews are keeping a close eye on the waters in False Creek after Monday morning's diesel spill. The Coast Guard alerted city officials to the spill near Granville Island early yesterday morning. Before the cleanup effort started, investigators ruled out a land-based source of the spill, and it focused on one vessel after an alarm on an air monitor went off. We still don't know how much diesel spilled into False Creek. No issues with marine life have been reported. Former Florida Governor Jeb Bush has officially launched his U.S. presidential campaign. His promise is to run with heart and take nothing and no one for granted. The son and brother of 2 former presidents left his surname off his official campaign branding, as some see it as a political liability. Polling suggests he has yet to dominate a wide field of Republican candidates.
I will campaign as I would serve, going everywhere, speaking to everyone, keeping my word, facing the issues without flinching, and staying true to what I believe. I will take nothing and no one for granted. I will run with heart, and I will run to win.
And then there's Donald Trump. The Donald will announce his 2016 intentions at a Manhattan skyscraper that bears his name later today. Experts say, should he decide to run, Trump is positioned to have a greater impact on the early months of the Republican presidential primary contest than many Republican leaders would like. Should he get in, Trump would be required to release a personal financial disclosure that would reveal